class, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the video because it's the one part that is going to separate your video from all the other videos out there. Notice that we haven't even talked about the solution yet. So you may be thinking, well, I have a solution. I have to solve a problem. I have a solution. When are we going to talk about that? Don't worry, we will. And we're not going to talk about problems. We're going to talk about pain. Now, some of you may say, well, what's the difference between a pain and a problem? Here's the best example I can think of. Let's say you're running and you trip and fall and you skin your elbow. You have an abrasion, it's bleeding, but you'll live, you'll survive. You go home, you put some, you clean it off, soap and water, you put some, antiseptic on it or antibacterial ointment, and then you dress it, cover it up, and you're good to go. But what if you were riding a motorcycle and you fell off the motorcycle and unfortunately you cracked your arm and your bone now is being exposed through your flesh? Not to sound gross, but that's a very different type of injury. That type of injury, you're going to go to the hospital. So you may have had pain with the scratch, but it's not enough pain to really motivate you to do anything, to take any kind of action, except for to do it yourself. But if you break your arm, if you are in so much pain that you can't take it, you're going to take action and go to the emergency room. So that's the difference between a problem and a pain. A problem just kind of presents itself. The pain is something that's nagging. And let me give you a few more tactical examples. So let's just say as an example, let's say if your product, let's say if you are a coach, a public speaking coach, and you are showing that you can help people present more confidently in public. You may think the problem is stage fright, but in reality, the problem isn't stage fright. The underlying problem is embarrassment, the inability to advance your career or having lower self-confidence in all areas of life. There's something below stage fright. It's why do you have stage fright? So what is that below and what are the results? What are the effects? That's actually the most important. You have stage fright, that could be a problem, but what is the effect that has on your life? And I mentioned a few. It's constant embarrassment, inability to advance in your career, etc. Another example, let's say if you're a fitness coach and you're out of shape. Let's say if you're a fitness coach, the problem is your customers are out of shape. Well, that's a problem, but what's their pain? What does that cause? What does being out of shape cause in their life? Well, one thing is they're unattractive to the opposite sex. Another pain is that they're self-conscious all the time and they feel that people are watching them all the time. Or they can't wear the latest fashions. And so the problem is they're overweight, they're fat, whatever word you want to use, but the pain points are those. Now, here's another problem. Let's say if you're a golf coach and you give lessons. The problem is your customer can only drive the ball 200 yards. That's a problem, but what's the pain? What pain does that experience? What does that cause? Well, it means that the person, his or her golf buddies, aren't going to choose him for a foursome when it's time to go for a round of golf. They'll be looked over. No one wants to play with them in terms of being a go-to golfer because they can't shoot 200 yards or drive the ball 200 yards. And you love golf, but your customer wants to give up. So those are some of the pain points. And what you want to do is you want to expose that pain. So you don't want to talk about a problem. You don't want to list problems. There's stage fright and you're out of shape. You don't want to list the problems. It's okay to state the problems, but then really narrow down what the pain is to that specific, to your audience, to your customer. So that's what you want to do. And then you want to almost let them marinate it. And the reason why is that you want to show that you have empathy. You understand that the problem is causing a certain amount of pain in their life, their professional life, or whatever it might be that your niche is. So that is the basics of the pain. So you want to present that in your video as well. The next video, we're going to talk about step number 5, which is the relief. So let's go to the next video.